Hello, it's me, Tara Love Perry. I'm in the middle of making dinner. I'm just dancing around, got my house music on, making the food. And I check my Facebook to see, just catch up on my messages while I'm sitting around. And one of my friends gave a response to the last video I made about delusion and destiny. And she was talking about, but what about holding people in their potential? Because I was talking about saying, okay, when we see something that we think is true and then it isn't, and we get broken and we get devastated because we have to come back down to reality. And those of us who really project what we think is somebody's potential onto our beloved or onto our family or onto the world or onto even ourselves. And we hold that idea and it sounds great. It sounds like a beautiful thing to do. However, how many times does that actually fall short? How many times do those people that we project that potential that they could be upon, how many times does that let us down? How many broken hearts have happened because the one that you thought had the potential didn't follow through? Now, I really want to try and help you guys and save you from making these mistakes, because guess what? I've done them all. And not only have I done them all, if I told you the things that have happened to me in my life, and actually I'm going to start sharing a lot more of my personal stuff, because you'd be probably quite shocked what I've been through and the things that I've experienced. And it's almost like having a little taster of every possibility so that I get a taste for humanity. I sometimes feel like that's what my soul journey is about. But anyway, so talking about potential, one very, very dear person in my life, in fact, he was the love of my life. And he once said to me in a really painful conversation where he was breaking up with me, and it was actually in the middle of a teepee, in the middle of a field, in the middle of a storm, and it was really dramatic, sitting around a fire in the rain. And he said, Tara, you know what? One of the very worst things about you is that you see the best in everyone. And you expect them to be that, and you want them to be that. Yeah, you can imagine. I found that really hard to hear, because I've been the eternal optimist, the eternal dreamer, the one that's raising the hopes and thinking I'm raising the bar and holding that potential for humanity and holding the potential of the relationship and holding it in light. I'm a born and bred hippie. What can I say? So it's like, that to me is love. Or that was love to me anyway. And I just didn't understand what he was talking about. I was really hurt by what he said, and then I dismissed it, and I was like, what does he know? Fuck him, he's miserable. However, I now know that he has a point, and I now understand exactly what he was trying to say. Because when I think I see somebody's potential and I hold that vision for them, or I tell them what I think their potential is, how do I know that what I'm seeing is true? And how do you think that other person feels? They might think, well, actually, are you really accurately seeing me? What are you seeing? Are you projecting? Are you imagining? It's probably all your own stuff. Because we do that so often, we project our own stuff onto other people, like a projector camera onto a canvas or a wall, and then we think that we're seeing them. And quite often we're really, really not, because all of us are so blinded. Seriously, there are very, very few people in this world who have clarity. Nearly all of us are blinded by all the filters and all the conditioning and all the illusions and all the delusions and all the things that we wish and want and need and haven't yet succeeded in getting. They're all propelling us and driving us and covering our vision, clouding our perspective, and not allowing us to really truly see what's absolutely in front of us, seeing the reality, the nuts and bolts of something. And I don't mean to say the nuts and bolts of something as a way of saying it's really dry or boring or bland, because I used to take it that way. People used to say to me, Tara, will you just get down to earth? Will you just, be a realist like me? And I would look at those people that called themselves realists, and I would see a lot of cynicism and bitterness and hatred and anger and self-loathing. And I was just like, no, man, you can keep your reality. I'm going to live in my bubble. Thank you very much. I like my love and light reality. Thank you very much. I like seeing the light in everybody. I like seeing the potential in everybody. It's a much nicer world to live in than your one that seems to suck because you're in pain. And let me just tell you now, my world was no better than their world. And those of us with spiritual ideals and lofty philosophies and fantastic religious ideologies, we tend to think of ourselves as above everybody else. I grew up in an environment like that. I grew up in a very spiritual community who thought themselves, whilst also being extremely poor and having no money and having failed relationships and broken marriages and, sick children all over the place and a broken community, they also held themselves in such high regard that, we've got the perfect knowledge, we know the truth, and we are somehow elite and above everybody else. I grew up in that environment. And despite there being a lot of beautiful, wonderful things about that, actually, you can imagine the major fucking crash that I had when I left home and discovered the world for myself and realised, no, that's not actually how it is. And I tell you what, my life is really coming from those high, beautiful spiritual ideals, having to come back down to earth and understand reality. And I'm not also talking about that reality where everything sucks and everything's in pain and the cynicism and bitterness and all that grudgy, yucky, quagmiry, victim-y stuff. That's also not the reality I'm talking about. So in my last video, I was talking about coming down to earth and coming out of the muck and rising up to this ground zero, this neutral zone, if you like, the reality zone. So yeah, where am I going? Reality. My bubble's been burst. And man, it hurts. It really does. And I really want to encourage you, in fact, I almost want to burst your bubble and say, look, a whole heap of the things that you believe in and hold in that beautiful, high esteem, well-meaning, good intention though you are, beautiful and spiritual and full of love though you are, it sounds like a nice idea. But what would happen if we just, let go of that as almost like a little balloon to hang on to, a little balloon of hope? What if we just burst that balloon? What if we just burst your bubbles and just go, actually, guys, that's not really real? What I would rather you experience is something which I truly do experience and truly do see for people. I mean, I'm so good at seeing other people's destiny, if you like, or their energy field. It's always much harder to see my own. But I definitely see that once you get down to this level of the absolute reality, this now, this moment, this present, this existence, this ground level of our reality, then your feet are on the ground, your feet are on the path, you're open to what's on the horizon, what wants to come towards you, what life wants to give you. And if you're hanging up there on balloons and hanging up there in the cosmos and flying up there with the, the light beings and the clouds and the angels, it's like you can go and visit still, but keep your feet on the ground, because then you will actually receive the true gifts, the true bounty, the true feast of life that's waiting for you. And until your feet are on the ground, it's not going to manifest, guys. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. I've been doing this a long time. Let me tell you, I haven't actually seen it quite work like that. I mean, it's not, we can definitely make things manifest. Like for me, I had a car crash this week, very minor one. And I've been going, okay, I really want a new car now. I really love my car. It's brilliant. There's nothing wrong with it. However, I quite fancy this nice new white car. So I had a car crash. I ran into the side of a woman. It wasn't my fault. It was her fault. And I got given this shiny, brand new white car exactly like I imagined it today. And of course it's temporary, and I may still have to pay loads of money to get my own beautiful, shiny new white car. But, I manifested my wish. So all I'm saying is just don't get in your own way, Don't project a whole load of stuff, or maybe wish for stuff, that's actually maybe not what you want in the first place. I don't know if I don't know if a car crash was the best way to manifest my temporary new white car that I wanted. I think in the long run it's actually going to cost me more. But also, you know, for those people who are the opposite end of the scale, like my partner who's full of the cynicism and the bitterness, and that's more grounded and that's more level and that's more real and, you know, got his feet on the ground. Great, but get your head out of your ass as well. It's not all doom and gloom. It's not all shit. The world isn't going to shit. It's like we're feeling that depression, we're feeling that anxiety and that need to go, let me think of something positive. Yeah, to get away from that deep down, sludgy, difficult stuff that's arising for all of us right now and that's showing up on the earth, and you know it's left, right, and centre, and it looks pretty doomy, it looks pretty hectic, but it's still work in progress. You know, that's not the reality either, so don't get fixed in that. You know, did you ever see Never-Ending Story? Amazing film from my childhood years where this beautiful white horse gets stuck in the quagmire of despair or something it's called, and you know, you see this horse sinking and it's like, oh, the tears are streaming. It's like, oh, that's like us, it's like our purity and the beauty of humanity is going into this big pit of despair and drowning in the darkness. That's not quite it. It seems like that, but that's not the end of the story. There's still more to come, so please don't base your sense of reality in that either. That's fear. That's being in the dark. That's not being able to see clearly either, even if you think that's the reality. Just going to tell you right now, just wait a while and you'll see that it's not. You know, maybe shift your perspective. And may we all learn and grow from our mistakes. May we all learn and grow from what we've seen and done before and know it doesn't work. And let's try this new paradigm, this new reality of what actually is. And maybe let's clean our eyes of the past and be able to just live in this moment now, and bless us all. May that happen for all of us. I love it, by the way, when somebody comments or people ask questions, because I do get quite a lot of that. I get a heck of a lot of that and in the emails and all my clients and stuff. And it gives me so much joy to go, yeah, let's talk about that. Let me share. You tell me what you think and I'll tell you. And we'll together, you know, uncover some deeper truth. What's sacred and what's real. So thank you for inspiring me, Sasha, with your comment. I love you. You're amazing. And keep them coming. Keep sending me questions. And I'm going to get a whole lot more personal, I think. I feel like, you know, if I'm going to talk about being real, I'm going to show you more of real me. And I'm excited about that. So this is me making my dinner in my kitchen. And I love you. I really do, and I'll see you soon. Bye.